my God. I took my son camping this past weekend, not really to make memories, more so just hoping that we would get eaten alive so I would never have to see another Fortnite dance. It gets so old, man, like, 'cause he's got my coordination, so the shit's not even good. He'll just be like, hey, Dad, watch this. And I'm like, what are you doing, man, having a fucking stroke? But he spends more time on his Xbox than a dude with no arm spends trying to wipe his ass, so I had to get him out of the house. But, like, he's obsessed with the show Naked and Afraid, so he wanted to do everything the hard way. Like, instead of a lighter, he wanted to bring a fire starter. He wanted to build a shelter and sleep on the ground. Pretty sure he wanted to get malaria. I'm like, hey, man, this ain't the fucking Oregon Trail. Hell, I caught him drinking out of the creek using a leaf as a cup. And I was like, what the hell are you doing, man? I brought Dasani. And he was like, ooh, Dasani. More like Dasano for me. He's trying to break it down for me. He's like, do you know the pH levels in Dasani? I said, the pH levels? I was like, you're drinking out of the fucking creek. I just pissed right down there. You should be worried about the P levels, motherfucker. Besides, you're supposed to boil that water first. And he was like, not if it ain't stagnant. Don't you watch Naked and Afraid? And I was like, well, no. I said, but my uncle took me out in the woods one time when I was little, and he was naked, and I was afraid. But then we started trying to put the tent up. And I got the tent from Dick's Sporting Goods. I went to the camping section, went on the tent aisle, and I was looking at all of them, and some of them were big as shit. Some of them said they'll hold like 18 people. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not trying to have a Bear Grylls orgy, okay? I'm not trying to build a nylon mansion. So I find one that says it holds 2 to 4 people. I'm like, that would be perfect. So I buy it. I don't look at it that much. So we start trying to put it up, and then, like, you know, you gotta stick the rods through it, and the rods was like 700 magic wands that are like stingy nunchucks with a bunch of cords in between. You gotta stick them together. It's so annoying. And then it takes 2 men to put it up. Well, I don't have 2 men. I just got me and this little pussy that plays the Xbox all day, and we're trying to pick this thing up. It ain't working so good. This thing turned out to be like my dick when I've had too much to drink. Like, it took a couple extra hands, some time, and the wind had to blow on it a little bit, but we finally got it up. And I started looking at it, and I was like, damn, there's no floor in this motherfucker. So I started digging around in the box. I don't see anything that resembles a floor. So I started looking at the box, and I realized that I don't have a tent at all. My dumb ass bought a screen dome. Okay? It looked like a screen porch for a fucking igloo. No wonder it was $35. But my son was excited about it. He's like, yes, oh my God, Dad. We're going to sleep on the ground like Naked and Afraid. I'm like, that's not cool, man. Like, what are you, Fred Flintstone? We're going to get ticks on our dicks out here. I was like, my God, man, we're going to get Lyme disease on our wieners. I didn't bring my CPAP. I ain't going to be able to sleep worth a shit out here. Well, then he wanted to start a fire, and he brought his own fire starter. And after about 45 minutes of watching him get carpal tunnel, I felt bad and sprayed the whole thing with lighter fluid. And I told him to try again. I thought I was being a good dad. Until he hit that shit with one spark and set his whole face on fire, burned every piece of hair off his head off. He looked like fucking Caillou. Like he belonged in the Ronald McDonald House, stage 4 leukemia. I was like, holy shit, stop, drop, and roll. And after that, he was kind of over the whole thing. He passed out in my truck at about 9 o'clock. Said, fuck the fake ass tent. He's like, that's not even really a tent. I was like, oh, now it's not a tent, Bear Grylls. I thought you wanted a fucking shelter made of sticks. Wait. So he passed out. He said he was kind of tired. I think he got kind of gay, you know? So I got mad and I ended up cutting the whole thing down because I couldn't take it down. It was a little bit more frustrating to take down than it was to put up. So I cut the whole thing down with my hatchet. Ended up driving us home about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I think that's the great outdoors. So get your kids out there. Have a good time.